you get it? Is it on?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Taking Over the World with Ed and Eric. What's up, buddy?
What is happening, amigo? Okay, wait a minute. We were just at a
Drinking game.
First of all, you should have led with that. That's twice somebody has done that to me. Where it's like, hey, do you know this song? And you start singing Apatapa Rose all day with somebody, right? I have no idea what you're talking about. And you're like drinking. I'm like, okay, maybe I have heard it. Okay. Somebody did that to me with, we're looking at a baseball tournament. And they're like, oh, yeah, this and this. And then I'm like, okay, I don't know. We'll see. He's like, oh, by the way, we're sponsored by Prime now. The kids all get Prime swag bags. He's like, why are we not leading with this information? Like that changes
the
things.
kids are getting sponsored by Prime?
Well, the tournament is. And so supposedly they're getting swag bags or whatever if we play in that tournament.
Yeah, just don't drink the Prime.
Yeah, it'll make you explode or something. It's not good for you. I don't know. Maybe Mike Tyson drank the Prime and that's why he lost.
I've had a couple different flavors.
Okay.
Of the Prime.
My kids were big on it for a minute, and then they were like, all this stuff came out, it's bad for you, whatever. I mean, all this crap is bad for us, but yeah, they fell off that wagon real fast. Okay, but I do have a question.
I have an
answer. This is going
answer.
to come out of the blue, because right before we mentioned a restaurant sponsor of the show. They're not, but they should be. They could be. Okay?
Right.
But it made me think, because I had this conversation with the kids last night after a wonderful third grade choir concert that I attended. It was beautiful. Pete the Cat's Christmas.
No.
Fantastic. Fantastic orchestraic display. Okay. Orchestraic display. Okay. Fries. Are you a fry guy? Do you eat fries? French fries. Do you like French fries?
Yes.
Okay. Number one French fry place.
McDonald's.
I
down.
That's what I said right off the bat too. I was like, not even up for a doubt. I go McDonald's. And that's what made me think about it when you guys said
McDonald's. Okay. Would have to be waffle fries.
From?
Chick.
Okay, that was Beckham's number one.
Chick-fil-A would have to be number two.
I'm not going to agree with that quite yet.
You don't.
I don't know if I put. I mean,
oh my God,
they're solid.
They're solid.
Okay, so we got to round this out. We're pot committed at this point. We have.
Yep.
We've gone all in.
All in.
3.
Go. Okay.
What follows the Chick-fil-A waffle fries?
I'd have to go with. This is gonna be.
Oh, don't do it, because I got a sleeper. You guys are gonna be like, no, not a chance. But it's a sleeper pick.
This is gonna be an out there pick.
I like it. I'm already in.
I'd probably say the fries from like Jack in the Box.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I think McDonald's is number one. We're eating at In-N-Out last night.
I'm not a fan of theirs.
It's an acquired taste, and I think like for In-N-Out, for me, it's good, and the fries are good, the burgers are good. But I grew up in California, so I think there's a little bit of like that nostalgia when I go to In-N-Out.
Yeah,
it's like White
bias,
Castle,
right?
You know, like the Midwest people, like, oh, I've had White Castle. I'm like, adequate at best,
right?
But I think it's just So I put my In-N-Out fries. But here's my sleeper pick.
Go.
Do not sleep on the fries from Del Taco.
Never had those.
Don't sleep on the fries from Del Taco.
You know what fries actually would
They're
be?
like kind of like the crinkle fries. They always have a good amount of salt on them. I'm telling you what. Do not sleep on the fries from Del Taco.
You know who I'd have to say is a good fry?
Who?
Taco Bell. Their nacho fries.
I was gonna say I didn't know.
With cheese. Oh my God.
Are they actual fries? I don't think I've ever had fries.
Oh my God, they hit.
What?
They hit, and they give you with like a little side of nacho cheese.
Well, see, that's what you go with In-N-Out. See, now In-N-Out, see, like, you got McDonald's, hands down, number one winner, champion. Well done. 8-time defending champion.
Number 2 has to be Chick-fil-A.
But In-N-Out's got that same style, because you can get the fries, like, animal style, with the spread, the grilled onion, all that stuff. Like, see, but now you open Pandora's box, because then you could go, like, down to, like, Roberto's or something, and get carne asada fries.
Those
I think there's
those are
listen,
good.
We're talking residential, commercial, townhomes, single family homes here. We're talking like the gamut is open, right?
But if you go like, so if we do fries for fries,
okay, straight up, no additives.
I think In-N-Out's like way down the list.
Wow, I think you're wrong, but
just regular.
Sure.
And I don't know if it's who has really good fries too? Five Guys.
Oh, fair.
5 Guys.
Good point.
When you
Cajun
get that,
fries. I get the Cajun fries.
When you get that brown bag and you see all the grease on the outside of the bag, that's a good bag of fries.
By the way, I mean, talk about. Listen, we always talk about.
So you go to the gym, and then this is what happens. This is why you don't lose weight.
This is absolutely. But you talk about bringing value, adding value, and I take a restaurant like Five Guys, right? So it's like straight from the beginning when we meet with clients, we lay out a plan. There's expectations. We give them stuff. We get them going.
Right.
Five Guys, you walk in. My daughter, she doesn't eat hamburgers anyway. Peanuts. They always got their box of peanuts. Right there. You're like, okay, this is kind of cool, different, some value there. I'm like, free peanuts. Who doesn't want free peanuts? Like, right? Then you go get your stuff. And then, like you said, you get to the fries and you're like, you don't even got to get anything but a small because they take your small, put it in there, and then take like another handful and dump them on top of that. It's a wild situation. I want to know what the company policy and who started that. It's like, hey, regular fry and more. I like it.
You know that it's friends that their fathers gave them money to open a business.
5 of them.
Yes, it was. And their fathers gave them
money. You know what I'm talking about.
Gave them money to open a restaurant, to open whatever they wanted. They decided to open a restaurant, and they started Five Guys, and now it is what it is. But what's the culture at Five Guys? What's the first thing when you walk in Five Guys that you get?
Oh, you get a giant welcome.
You get a
giant welcome. Same thing as like Firehouse.
Yep.
There's always a giant welcome. Yeah.
You always walk in the door, and the first thing you did is a big, rousing hello. Yeah. Welcome. Because they want you to feel welcome to be there.
Right. I like it.
Now, the only complaint I have of Five Guys is, if you order like a cheeseburger, it's automatically a double.
Sure.
And then you have to do a junior.
Yeah, like a little or whatever.
Right, to get one patty. So, have you ever because we're
ordered the little? No, absolutely not.
No, never. That's not even a question. But we're kind of aggressive when we order. Because we go and there's always there's always 5 of us eating, or usually 4 or 5 of us eating. So we'll get to the counter and we'll be like, because what do they do when they take your order?
Oh, I don't know. I order online a lot.
Oh, so we order there a lot. So they turn around and they say 5 patties, 8 patties, or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So sometimes we get to the counter and we're like, it's going to be 8 patties. And sometimes you have somebody that looks at you and doesn't shout anything out. And then every once in a while you get somebody who's like, 8 patties? I'm like, yep. All right, we got 8 patties.
I like it.
And they just yell it out because they know, all right, these people know exactly what they're doing. They're on it.
But you know what? It's funny because you look at something like that, right? And it goes into a lot of the stuff that we've looked at systems in the last month or so, right? Because when I hear that, like, I'm trying to like think about like the bigger picture of it, right? Like, why do you do that? Whatever. But it's communication all down the line,
right?
From the person that takes your order to the next person back there, and they're all working their stations. They're all staying in their lane. Someone's doing residential, someone's doing commercial, someone's doing transactions, someone's doing marketing, right? Yeah. Everybody stays in their lane because that's what you're assigned to that day. You don't have one person walking, okay, I got my buns, then I got my burger, then I got my cheese, then I got my top. Like, you don't have one person walking it down because it gets very inefficient.
Right.
And, now they're also, not only they're staying in their own lanes, they're working well as a team together because of that. And then I hear communication.
Yeah.
Right. Because how long have we been talking about that, about, some of the software we've been looking at, keeping the clients informed more and more easily accessible information, like appraisal's in, like instead of 4 patties, right? It's like sign this, right? It's like, of course we send out
offers
emails, in, right? And we send emails and stuff like that. But some of these things that we've started to look at with portals and login information. I mean, you go back to even like you stay with the food thing. It's like Domino's years ago when they did the pizza tracker, right? You could see, hey, Alberto's putting your toppings on, and Alberto put it in the oven now, and Shakira's just left the building with your
what
pizza,
is it?
right?
Spanish names.
I looked down there and I saw
Shakira?
Shaquille on there, and I just for some reason I decided that it was going to be Shakira. So, hey, it's a scary place up here. That's just how we operate today. But you see how it all works out, though.
One of the things that I love about systems, because you talk about systems, right? Because everybody has systems. And they're so organized, Five Guys. And they should sponsor us because we're huge fans.
Friends of the show.
Huge fans. But I love that when you order, they tag your burgers.
Oh, yeah, with the number stickers.
With the number, and it's
smart
on the receipt. 100%. So because like in our house, everybody has burgers completely different.
Yeah, I get. Yep,
Everybody
right.
does.
You're right.
And there's nothing more frustrating. I mean, even if it's your family, but yeah, everybody's like opening your burgers and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's friends, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because family is like whatever. Your family, you're my kids. That doesn't really matter. But some people get like my son doesn't like shit touching, and so he can get a little funky about things. So it's cool that they number them, and you look at the receipt, and you're
Smart
like, oh,
though.
number one's number one. This is yours. This is yours. This is yours. Boom. Everybody's got their
But
burger.
and all of those little things are what add up, and because we've talked about bringing on somebody else new to help enhance customer experience and level of
looking forward to being able to announce
just
that.
stuff, right? But it's the small things that you get bogged down on. Hey, listen, I'm working on putting together an 88 unit portfolio, $9.5 million sale. We're this morning trying to do counters, and we got double showings, backup showings coming in, and it's easy. And I shouldn't say easy, but it does happen. We're human, is that, and this is where the team comes in. It's easy to forget the little things.
Right.
Hey man, how are you today? Like, hey, this is where we're at. Quick little update, because in our brains we're already moved past that. We're like, hey,
Right.
yep, we already got that. We're good, but we don't think, hey, they may not know that, even though we're on top of it. Maybe our client doesn't know we're on top of it. So it's like now it's the small things, putting number on your burger, like that makes you think like, hey, that's a cool feature. Them sending all this stuff, the extra fries, I always think is a cool little feature, right? So it's all those little things that add up to create the customer experience. And in our case, we do handle the big things of making the burgers and the fries, getting them in there, but it's having those other people to fill in, to enhance it, to make sure the burgers are numbered properly, make sure the patties are called out properly. It's like, and it just goes to show how a team, when you take that and you can go to real estate with it too.
I remember I've done it a couple times in my life where I've had a good month or a good closing or something, and I'll go to like an out or Five Guys. Usually it's Five Guys, and we'll go there, and then I'll be like, hey, how many people are here? They'll be like, oh, there's 6 of us. All right, and I give a tip for all 6 people.
Nice.
And make sure everybody gets, and it's not like $1 to. I give them like a 20 or something for everybody, so everybody gets $20. And I do it, and they get so excited, because like nobody ever, because it's like when you fly. Like when I fly, I take gift cards for the flight attendants.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm gonna start tipping
Every time.
I'm gonna start tipping the pilot.
I don't know if pilot, because maybe he'll make you feel better.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll get you little wings, and he'll let you walk around and make you feel
Bro. plus, let's just say he's having a bad day, and I say, hey, here's a 20 spot. Hey, get me to the next place on time. Maybe he's like, you know what, that was really cool. I'm not gonna fall asleep during my shift today while I'm flying Aaron across.
I just get excited when I hear a pilot get on the intercom. Yes, my name is so and so. We're flying from the altitude is going to be, and I'm going to fly it like I stole it.
No, listen.
When they say that, I'm all excited.
You know what I'm not excited at?
That means they're going.
Well, here's what I don't like. We're going to go ahead and ask the flight attendants to take their seat, please. We expect a lot of turbulence coming in, and for the safety of all passengers, we're going to ask you to buckle your seatbelts, safety, hold on for dear life, and say a prayer. Like, right? Like that's what I'm not looking forward to hearing.
When have you ever heard that?
I've heard versions of it, absolutely. When they tell them, hey, we're going to go ahead and have the flight attendants take their seat for the duration
turn
of
on
the
the
flight.
seatbelts.
And I'm like, here we go.
You know what? I think that
Here
happens to you
we
because you
go.
get nervous.
I'm telling you, it's what you focus on expands, right? Did we not learn that? But your story of the tipping. So what was it? Monday. Monday was the anniversary of my dad's passing. And so it was like, it's been 5 years now. I can't believe it.
Oh, wow.
But it's funny, just, like he's always top of mind. But,
Right.
And I always say how similar you guys, like, it would have been interesting to see you guys have a conversation. Because that is exactly something he would do. To the T, he would walk in and like anytime he saw like police officers or first responders or something like that, or if he saw a moment where, and if he heard something like that, he would be the first guy to do that, and he'd be like, "Yeah, here you go," and not for egotistical reasons, not for a look at me moment, just because like you, like him. He was an honorary son of a gun, like right. He was alpha. He was straight shooter like you. He was like you. You either loved him or you hated him. He was just like you. You love him or you hated him. There was no BS. I mean, But it wasn't, that moment wasn't about him. It was about being in a position to do something thoughtful and careful. And, like he would, like, much like you. I mean, if he needed to, he'd give you the shirt off his back.
Right.
So it's when I share that story, I'm like, just like, Jesus, man, you guys are cut from the same cloth.
But that's what, it's funny because like you said, they either love you or hate you.
Oh, that was,
right?
that was with my dad.
And like, I walked into somebody's office today and I'm like, I need you to confirm or deny something. And they just look at me like, always. You always ask for this. I'm like, I'm not asking you for details. I just need you to confirm or deny.
It's fair.
That's all I need. But yes, so I'm excited because we are adding somebody to the team.
Yeah.
Don't want to announce it yet until we confirm everything.
Couple of people, actually.
Yes, we are.
But one of them's a whole new position.
One of them is, in their own right, a successful real estate agent.
Sure.
She does a lot of the little things really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as our organization grows and as we do more transactions and as we have more people around, I don't want to lose. I want to actually enhance that, the little things. So I think that having this person as part of our team is going to enhance that, and it's going to make this whole experience for the client way more than what they have now. And even though now we get a lot of repeat business because people like the service and enjoy what we do and how we do it, but I think having somebody that is focused on making sure they're taken care of and making sure they have everything that they need and they're up to date with everything is going to be a game changer. Using the systems now that we have and having somebody that can make sure that that's implemented correctly, and it's a game changer. I think next year is going to be an exciting year.
So I was updating the board this morning. We moved another one to closed.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll move another one to closed tomorrow.
Did you move
Friday.
my Florida one to closed?
I think we moved the Florida one to closed. So let's say we move both of those.
Okay.
We're at about 36, 37 transactions.
We're at 37?
And that's still there's like 5 things in escrow still, 10 active listings still. So, I mean, if nothing else, how we finish the year, I mean, we'll pick up the first quarter. I mean, freaking guns a-blazing.
I walked 2 properties that were getting brand new listings.
Yeah, those were not even
those are not on
considered.
Right, so those are brand new listings we're picking up. They're getting completely rehabbed. I'm picking up another listing in Florida, which I'm going tomorrow to go to Florida to go check that listing out.
Right. Well, I think that you brought up a good point, and I think if we go educational on people for a minute, is that
education?
It's time to educate some people. Okay, your home is worth what a buyer will pay for it.
100%.
Remodeled does not mean it has very various meanings. Right, and that's what.
No. Remodeled has one meaning. People want to assign it to a bunch of different things.
Well, and I think so. It's interesting because we do deal with a lot of investors. We do deal with a lot of properties, and I think what we've seen is that we have a handful of clients that we're currently working with, and some not working with because of this reason. But it becomes our job to help them come to the realization that their remodel is either not complete, or it was not done properly,
or it's not a remodel.
Not a remodel. But I think a lot of people want to be like, well, you know what? Oh, I grew up in this house. Oh, the kids used to play in the driveway. I built this garden, and I did this. And it's like, that's great. However, that's not what people are going to pay for. Nope. People, and it's kind of like, the one property we have right now on Eden. It's like it's good bones, but it's dated. People aren't, they'll pay for the bones, but you're not going to get the top dollar because it's not remodeled. And they're very aware of it there.
Right.
But it's like, everybody wants, so-and-so got 600 for theirs. So I want 600 for mine. Theirs is completely gutted, redone, remodeled, blah, blah. Yours looks like it was filmed in a 60 Minutes episode. Right? like we got some work to do. And I think that's the hard part sometimes with our job is that everybody wants a listing. Everybody wants a closing. We all
Right.
do. That's the purpose of it, is to help clients achieve some goals and close and make them money, make ourselves
Right.
money. But the hard part becomes getting them to understand what reality is.
Oh yeah, like yesterday, the two properties I walked yesterday are literally gutted.
So they haven't been remodeled. They're
They're in the process.
in the process. Okay.
Right. So like they finished on one of the ones I walked through. They finished the bathrooms. They were still finishing up. They haven't done the floors yet. They're putting in brand new canister lights. They're doing everything, repainting, filling in the little stress cracks that the place has. Like they're doing everything. The other one, everything is still gutted. They just, when I got there yesterday, they were updating all the electrical, and it wasn't even done. Like we were walking the property at first with a flashlight, then the electrician was like, I think I got this room done already. So let me turn on, make sure it works and stuff. Turn it on and you can see it. But I can tell you that house, that particular house, I walked into it when it was tenant occupied, and when it was purchased tenant occupied, and it was a disaster. And I walked into it when the tenants left, and it was still a disaster. I walked into it last night, and I was like, this house, and it's not even complete yet, but just the little things that they've done to open up the space and make it look, I was like, this house looks twice the size that it did before.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be, I think that's good. But that's, to your point, yes, like this is an investor that I work with all the time. We walk the property, and he's like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? He's asking for opinions. What do you think is going to help me sell it?
That's the question I wish more clients would ask.
Right.
You know, or because they try to do stuff before and they spend money in the wrong places.
Right.
Or they spend like, oh, I redid this, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, that's great. Like, you're not going to get even close to half the money back for that. Like, you could have put it over here and gotten doubled your money,
Right.
you know, for that little investment, you know, whatever. And it's, you know, it's like when I walk into houses, there's always two things that I look for. And if they tell me it's remodeled, if I see an intercom system, okay, you have not been remodeled. If I see like the drop down fluorescent lights in the kitchen,
Oh, yeah.
you have not been remodeled.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. But yeah, that's one thing I wish more people would do is reach out to a real estate agent, reach out to our team, reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I'm going to sell my home. Maybe it's not for 6 months. I'm going to do some rehab by myself or hire some guys. Fine. Where should I put it? Because I feel like there's so many people that put it in the wrong spot that you're just like, I mean, like I've walked a couple houses lately. Like I saw faucets, a couple $100 to put in new faucets.
Ice Age?
Ice Age, the squirrel from Ice Age was in. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see the faucets that look like the squirrel from Ice Age, you cannot unsee it. It's got the eyes, the teeth, the long. I mean, it's you can't unsee it. But it's like if you picked up $30, $40 faucets and changed out 5 of them, you know,
Night and day.
you know, it transforms so much. But that's the one thing I wish people would do more. So if I can give any sellers any piece of advice heading into the new year, finishing up this one, like if you're going to do a remodel project, reach out to us. Let us come walk it. Doesn't mean you have to hire us for anything. Just let us help you out, man. Like
Right.
let us tell you where our opinion is, where
the good
money's best spent. Yeah.
Like he was asking me yesterday. He was doing some stuff in the house, and he's like, "Look, if I spend a ton of money on the outside, I really can't spend a ton of money doing this stuff. Where do you think my value is?"
Sure.
I'm like, do it on the inside. Like do this. People can fix their backyards,
Right.
but getting this stuff done, like gutting the bathrooms and putting all brand new tiles and doing everything in the bathroom and new sinks and new countertops and putting quartz in, like that's going to be a lot more expensive for most people
Sure.
to have to go somewhere and find somebody and than you who order quartz, you know, by the sheets and have people install them.
Well, and then you get people that want to cut corners. Like, hey, I'll do it myself. I'm guilty of it 100%. I always want to do everything myself. But it comes to a certain point where if you can't do it properly and you're trying to sell your home, man, you can't do it yourself. Like the buyers are going to tell. So all that sweat equity that you put in and, the money that you bought for a new paint. I mean, when you miss and paint half the ceiling and shit, like, I mean, that's right? Like we all have, right? Or you try to like take off the cabinets and sand them and repaint them. Like,
oh God,
man, like either don't do it or pay someone to do it. Like, right? Like you got to spend some money sometimes if you want to get that return, because sometimes you just do more harm than good.
Like I remember the first house with Mercy that we moved into. She was like, "Oh, let's paint the house. Let's do this." So we start painting. And it was an older house. It was built in the 50s, and there was a wire sticking out of the wall. And Mercy's like, "I hate that wire." And I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Why don't you cut it?" And I'm like, "I don't know if I should cut it." She's like, "Just cut it because it looks ugly." I was like, "All right, I'll cut it." I've never heard anything pop so loud in my life. I thought I was going to die. It burnt the wall. And it was a concrete wall. Because it was in Florida. And it was block. And the block was burnt.
We did the same thing. When I first started buying my
I was like, I'm never listening to you again when it comes to cutting shit.
So I had bought my first couple rental properties, investment properties in Arizona right out of college. And my dad and I were remodeling them. He came from a construction background, so blah, blah. So he's showing me all this stuff, and we'd worked together and done some things before, so we knew what we were doing. And
I love what you say, we know what we're doing, and you're telling a story.
And I'm about to do the same thing, right? I'm about to cut the, the cables, the wire coming through, the Romex and stuff, and we're going to move, because we're going to move the outlet up higher or whatever. Right. And I was like, hey, did you cut the power? He's like, yeah, I did for sure. And it was one of those things, was like, did you really? He's like, no, I did. With kind of like that giggle. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. He's like, just cut it. It's like, it won't be, just cut it. Boom, bam. Oh. He goes, maybe I didn't. Yeah, you think. He goes, you'll be fine. He goes, but I guess I'll go turn it off now. It's like, same thing, man. Same thing. I guess the story is always double check the wiring, man. Or hire somebody. Because God forbid you do some electrical in your home or something that is not to code or something, and it's just you don't want to. You don't want a part of that.
I'm so afraid that if I have to change a light fixture, or I have to change a plug, I go and shut off the main.
Oh, I do the same thing.
I want everything off in the house. I am not getting killed.
I'm pretty much the same. Like every once in a while, I'll do a light switch, but I'm with you.
I turn it off and I still check to make sure there's no power going to it.
I'm the same.
I've changed a couple of GFIs in my house, and I'm like, turn off the power, and I'm like, it's not beeping, so it should be off. That is not catching me again. Because it caught me one time, it's not getting me a second time.
Hey, listen, you gotta learn. You gotta learn from your mistakes.
Like I'll tell people, like people will be like, hey, if you had to do another profession, would you be like a tradesman, like an electrician? I'm like, those are great jobs, electricians, plumbers. But really, if you gave me those two options, a plumber and an electrician, I would take plumbing the whole time. I can wash shit off myself. I cannot fix getting electrocuted.
Wow. I think
you can't fix getting electrocuted, buddy.
You really, you can't.
I mean, you take a hot bath, you soap yourself, lather yourself up a couple times, you can get smell off of you. You cannot get.
I'm trying to think. If I was going to be like a tradesman, what would I specialize in? I don't know, man.
Well, don't skimp. We already talked about skimping.
I mean, if I was going from like the ground up, I think I'd definitely go into like framing or something. Because you get saws, hammers.
You're gonna go 2 stories, go up on a ladder or scaffolding?
Yeah, dude. Like I'm down with some.
I'm not a height guy.
I'm down with some like hammers, some nails, some saws and stuff. I'll see the plumbing. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of like bending over and like hurting your lower back. I feel like electrical, you can kind of stand up and work with it, but you could definitely hit it with the old, So maybe it's just better that we're not involved with any of it. Or maybe we give everybody an update and maybe your new profession, because we haven't talked about this in a while. It's getting close to the end of the year. We should probably get a status update or a progress update.
On what?
How are we feeling as far as the Blue Angels?
Oh, we're still working on it.
Are we a work in progress? Have we put a dent in the process at all?
No, we have not. We don't have enough followers. I need more followers. I need more people.
Matter of fact, we have gone backwards. We're further away from flying with the Blue Angels.
I think I got a letter from him saying, "Don't even try." It's not good.
Actually, okay. Take those words out of your mouth. I think that's about what it came in at.
So yeah, no, I'm not even close.
Okay. Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, you know.
But we did have a thing today.
Ooh.
I was coming down the hallway, and you said, "What do you have in your hand?"
Oh, yeah.
And I told you I had a fun dip, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming."
Did not. That one caught me off guard.
And I
You're
said,
not really. I don't picture you as like a fun dip kind of guy. I haven't seen you with a lot of fun dips in our
No.
time.
That's not my. If I had to pick, if you had to pick one, what's the flavor?
Of what? Fun dip?
Yeah.
I don't do really fun dip. I think you got to go. I don't even know what the flavors are.
You got to go cherry. There's no other flavor.
I mean,
Maybe blue raspberry, but
I was just
or
always
the combo.
See, but that's where like that's where like I run into problems because like when I do like as a kid, I still remember like as a fun dip, you got the white stick, you do
Right.
you know stick it in there, stick it back, like right like you're doing it, but then it's kind of like the Tootsie Pop. At a certain point, I was just like, and I ate the stick. You know, like I was over it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the patience to like. I just like either dump the fun dip stuff in my mouth and eat the stick. Like let's move on. I didn't have the patience for fun dip.
So I was coming down the hall, and I told you fun dip, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't see that coming." And I'm like, I'm concerned about the taste because an off-brand.
Yeah.
And realized that off-brand fun dips
Not the best.
are not the go-to move. And I didn't buy it. I got it from somebody else because I wouldn't buy fun dips off-brand.
And I think there's certain things you can buy off-brand, perfectly fine,
And I brought one suggestion up to you.
and that's something that you don't buy off-brand, right?
I asked you to buy condoms off-brand.
unless you have family plans and stuff, you don't go with the Bruin. You know, that's just
You go with the Trojan, not the Bruin.
listen. It's a family-friendly show. But to your point, there are good off-brands, and there are bad off-brands. There's some things that you.
So ASU's in the title game.
Yo, let's go. They were my
But
father
they're not in the playoffs.
Well, no. Well, they're in the projected rankings right now.
If they win.
Only if they win. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're projecting them to
And
win.
Miami was left out. And 3-win Alabama was put in.
So I didn't even see Miami's completely out of the playoff.
Completely out. They put in that's the bias of when you have a brand. That's the importance of a brand.
Sure.
Right? So Alabama has this brand and it's
Agreed.
nostalgic and it's the big brand and it's, Nick Saban and national championships and blah blah blah. And they haven't won a national championship in forever. But it's the brand.
Fair.
So the 3-win brand and the SEC brand,
That's
the
true.
wins are better. Even though they have bad losses, the wins are better because it's part of the SEC.
So I did not see that. I mean, I was when I was looking at, obviously I've been looking at ASU and a potential spot for UNLV.
Right.
But it's interesting.
But they're even talking about like UNLV being a one-loss conference champion and not making it.
Well, UNLV already has 2 losses. They're 10-2.
Right. So
They would be
2-loss.
10-3. They're not going to make it.
No, but a 2-loss champion. So if they beat Boise, they'd be the Mountain
They're
West
in.
champion. No, they may not.
I thought Mountain West had an automatic bid in.
I don't think so.
No, I think they're automatic.
No,
bid in.
I think they might lose to like SMU if SMU loses to Clemson.
Oh, it's interesting. It's a wild.
I'm interested to see how it
Well,
happens.
it's funny because you look at the final rankings compared to the playoff rankings, they're so wild because SMU's like 3, Boise's
Right.
4 because of their conferences.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes up. Yeah, ASU, we got a game 9
I know
o'clock.
ASU's definitely
win
in
and
the
they're
Big
in.
12 is an automatic bid in.
Right.
But I don't know. See, that's just the strange thing. Like Conference USA and all these other D1 schools are still not in.
I gotta think if UNLV wins, they're in.
You think so? I hope
think so.
so. I'd love to
Mountain
see UNLV
West.
in.
I would like to think that the Mountain West, because they're going to be a highly ranked team, because if they go in and they beat Boise, which again is already a monstrous task,
Right.
right? You got the Heisman favorite or supposed Gentry.
Right.
So, I mean, if they go in and beat Boise, they're at what, like 21 right now, I think? I mean, shoot, they jump into the teens for sure. So I don't know how you keep a Mountain West champion ranked in the teens out of the playoffs.
The same way you would keep,
But Miami, but they would technically have a better record than Miami. Now, I'm not saying the wins are better,
No, but they would have the same record because
No,
Miami
Miami's
has
lost-
2 losses.
I thought Miami had 3 now.
2. That's what a big uproar is with a lot
I
of
thought
people.
Miami was at 3.
No, because they cut Miami out and put 3-loss Alabama in. Which everybody, it's the brand. They're getting the benefit of the doubt because of the
going to
brand.
be a wild. It's going to be, and this is the thing, is that it's always controversy, right? No matter you go to 12 teams, 8 teams, 12 teams, 24 teams,
You gotta
there's
go
always
30,
controversy.
you gotta go to
Everybody's in.
March Madness.
We're going
64 teams.
Participation awards. Everybody's in.
You gotta go 64 teams like March Madness and just
Well,
play games for the last
All
month.
we really need to do is just root for ASU at this point.
That
Win
Miami's
and
out.
we're in, baby. Win
it.
and we're in. ASU plus 10,000 to win the Big 12 championship at the beginning of the season. Plus
No
10,000.
way. Did you bet it?
I did not. I didn't even know about it until my father-in-law showed it to me on Thanksgiving.
Did he bet it?
No, he's like, I knew I should have put $20 on it. But
Dude, how do you
they
not-
were picked to finish dead last, and they're in the title game.
That's crazy. If they win
Dillingham's
the
the
Big
real
12,
deal, bro. Scatterboo.
That's why you play the game.
That's why you play the games. We're gonna scatterboo all over them, baby.
All right, brother. So I'm going to Miami. I will see you when I get back.
That's right. Go get him.